A few dragons didn't get it, fine, they were out, but Deborah Meaden got it and she made an offer. But when you're standing there and it's like 30% of your business, and then I had flashbacks to those 18-hour days where we did that order, in 2 weeks, and you just literally put all your effort, your blood, sweat and tears into it. And I thought, I'm not giving away a third of my business.
This is The Summit by Fearless Adventures. I'm Dominic McGregor, and every week I will be talking to inspirational leaders about their experiences as they strive towards their summit.
Hello and welcome to the Summit podcast, where we talk to incredible individuals about their entrepreneurial journeys. Today we're joined by LoveRaw founders Rimi and Manav. So today it's going to be great to learn a bit more about LoveRaw and your journeys. So I guess to start off, just tell us a bit about your background and how you've gotten to where you are now.
So me and Rimi met, 12 years ago now. And we were having a long distance relationship, and I was living in Spain at the time. And I'd sort of sold property there and then did not enjoy selling property, and then ended up setting up my own business, distributing like home textiles and furnishings like that. And we had a long distance relationship, and you were doing investment banking.
Yeah, I think women remember details. It was actually, we met actually 15 years ago. We've been married 12 years, but no, I'm not counting. We both studied economics, but we didn't know each other back then. So my background, I worked in finance in London and in hedge funds, so I was very much kind of working 11, 12-hour days. And then met Manav. He was living in Spain at the time, and then when he did very kindly propose, it was like, okay, so do you move to London or do I move to Spain? And then it was like Manav had his own business there, and a lot more kind of riding in however much he's invested in his business. It wasn't a bad thing, me leaving investment banking. I thought I loved it at the time, and I thought Manav lived in Marbella, and it was near Gibraltar, tax-free jurisdiction. I thought I'll just get a private banking job there. So what led me to LoveRaw, it was 3 life-changing events. And I guess one was leaving investment banking. And the next one was, moving to a new country, Spain. It was amazing. But then the last one for me was losing my father. He had a brain hemorrhage, so he was quite ill, and we lost him about 2 years after he had his hemorrhage. And so moving to a new country and, leaving a career, about to make a fresh start, that should be a really exciting time. But I felt like my world had collapsed after my dad passed away, and I didn't have my family, didn't have my friends. I moved to a new place. So I wasn't in a great place, and I was with Manav, and he was very supportive. He was great. But I guess what got me out of that feeling of grief was, we're in Andalusia, and they had farmers markets, and they picked produce 4 o'clock that morning, and going to these farmers markets and picking my produce and eating these types of foods made me feel good. It got me out of that grief, and it just snowballed from there. I gave up dairy, gluten, meat, and when I bought snacks in supermarkets and when I was on the go, I don't know if you guys do this, but I read ingredients, and whatever said they were healthy, it's really, they're not healthy. And then I'd be really passionate about that, And then I made snacks at home for my family and friends. And then it was like one Saturday morning, I got up and I thought, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this to market. I've left my career where I was working 11, 12 hours a day to not being in a great place. And I needed to do something. And I thought, this is my passion. I'm passionate about this. And I tried to set up the business in Spain. It's too bureaucratic, too much red tape. They don't support entrepreneurs.
You can't start a food business from your own kitchen like in the UK. Yeah, you have to be in a commercial premises. It just wasn't a good... not good for entrepreneurs.
No, it's not at all.
No.
And I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. So Manav's dad said, why don't you move back and you can move in with us and just start the business from home. And initially I thought, that's crazy.
So in Spain, what did you have? Where did you get to? Did you have a first product, second? Where were you?
No. Even
just an idea still.
I just had going to get a certification for the building, and you had to rent a building where you had an indoor and outdoor. I feel like the setup there is so bureaucratic that you want to line the pockets of a lot of people before you can start business. So we would have had to spend about 30,000 euros before I could even make the first product. Whereas when I got to the UK, I got certified by Trafford Council, Soil Association, ready to go.
So you travelled back to the UK.
Travel back to the UK.
With an idea.
With an idea.
So how did you take that?
I was like,
You've got
I've got a bit of
Yeah.
no. I was like, you know what? I had to support her because she'd gone through all of those. She was determined to do it, and she was like, I'm going to go back. But she ended up living with my parents without me. So that was another story.
That's another podcast.
Another story. But it was she needed to do it, and I was very supportive. And I said, you know what? I'll help you. I was running my business. I said, look, I know a bit about the admin, the operational side. Literally, I'll try and support where I can. You just go, get it set up. And, the plan was, if it works really well in England, we'll bring it back to Spain because there'll be money, My business at that time, there was a recession in Spain and it took a very long time for it to recover. We didn't have extra funds. We didn't have pockets or savings to invest. So it was like we needed to sort of just test the idea first, see that it worked. And then let's go and, get loans from banks and all of those types of things and then bring it back to Spain. But then it didn't happen that way, did it?
No, I ended up approaching factories and they were like, no, everybody said no, you don't meet the minimum order quantities.
Yep.
So I thought, okay, fine. I'm quite a determined person and I was hell-bent on doing it. So I thought I am going to do it at home. So that's why I got certified and I was about to start making the bars and a friend came over and he said, who would be your ideal retailer? And I said Whole Foods and he said, just go there. And I was like, I can't do that. I can't go straight to Whole Foods. And he was like, why not? And then he left me with that. And then I thought, why not? Why can't I do that? So I made a sample product, sample packaging, hand sealed it, and found out who the buyer was. He said, email me your product and post your product, email me your details. And I was impatient. So I just hopped on a train to London, found out where the head office was, bypassed 2 reception desks and said I had a meeting when I hadn't. Yeah. And then I thought, okay, I'm just going to collar him for 2 minutes and give my products. Thankfully, he was really receptive and he was Spanish and we had I was like, oh, well, I live in Spain and practice my really crap Spanish on him. And he was like, okay, we'll let you know. And he said, look, it was a bit dry and it can improve. So I went back, improved on the product, sent it back to him. And he was like, look, I love the story and we like the product and we're going to take you on and we'll make an order for 500 units. And I was like, 500 units of bars? And he was like, no, cases. So I had an order for 6,000 bars and hadn't set up anything. And he was like, can you deliver in 2 weeks? And I was like, yes. So I called Manav back from Spain. I was like, can you come back and help me, please?
Yeah.
And I called my mum. My mum's in the Midlands and obviously Manav's parents. So I just had everybody helping me make this 6,000.
You did that. We only had a food
order.
processor, the home, but you need a big blender to mix all the ingredients. So we did it. I think we did it in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
didn't
we did it.
Everybody got stuck in. We got it out, and then I think a week later they'd sold out those boxes, and he was like, "Can we order 10,000 units?"
It did really well. I think it was just.
Was that just in London?
It was
Whole
just in
Foods.
London.
Just London Whole Foods, the one by Piccadilly?
Piccadilly, Kensington, Camden. So we were
6,000 gone.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a great product. We had coconut and chia, apricot and camu, these exotic superfoods. I think it was a perfect Whole Foods product, and that's why it did so well.
Yeah.
We that's how we started, and then being in Whole Foods, it snowballs. People see you in there, retailers see you in there, and you get further orders. And we found a factory to meet the minimum order quantities after about 6 months, though, and I wanted to look for the right partner to keep the integrity of the product. Yeah. And then it was almost 10, 11 months where I'd been in the UK and thought, okay, I need to come back to Spain, come back to Manav. So then I ran it remotely from Spain, and then I was there for about 2 years. And it really very much was, I guess, a lifestyle business. It was ticking over and I loved doing it. And then we were at kind of a point where I was pregnant with my daughter in 2015. Manav's business wasn't in a great place.
It was just slow. It just wasn't growing. And I remember we went for pizza, and she was like, "Do you know what? Do we stay here or do we go back and grow LoveRaw together?"
We always have a joke. A lot of life-changing decisions that we make, it's always over pizza. Yeah, it was lovely in Spain. It was nice, but the business was growing, and we couldn't really scale up in Spain. So it was like, do we move back to the UK or do we stay here and run it as a lifestyle business? So we moved back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was hard. It was starting back up again, and I feel like that's when LoveRaw really started.
We invested in a couple of husband and wife teams, and we've taken feedback from people that is, risky than normal things.
Yeah.
How have you found the working dynamic between being married, also having 3 kids, and running 2 companies and now 1 company?
Oh, okay.
Or is it all you've known?
I would go, all we know, and I think from my, I don't know if we have different perspectives on this. When we started doing LoveRaw together, or when I joined, we would bicker about everything. Like, I would get involved in the flyers, Rimi would get involved in the operations side. But it took about 2 or 3 years where we said, you know what, you look after this side of the business. You make the final call on the branding, MPD, marketing. You make the final, I'll have my opinion, but you make the final call. And then an operation, commercial, logistics, and finance, I'll make the final call. So that's done very well. We haven't really, very rarely, I think, since then, do we disagree on stuff. I think once.
Yeah, we probably had one big argument.
That was recently, but after 5 years, I think we've done okay. But then, but the
and
work...
the team was small then, there was about 4 of us. So where anything that was going on, you'd hear and you'd get involved. There's like 18 of us now, so you don't know what goes on, and we both pretty much have our own roles.
But the work-life balance...
There's no balance. There's no balance. I think it was harder.
Is that entrepreneur life, though, in general, or is it a combination of everything?
Can't speak for other entrepreneurs, but, when you try and have that balance, it's just unachievable. I feel like it is for our life. So when I stopped trying to balance, it just felt better. Felt like I wasn't fighting. It's like almost, sometimes I'll be a better mum and I'll be a better wife. But then at other times I'll be, better at work and maybe not so much. It's always, there's always a little trade-off. But I feel like we do work well. Work always comes home with us, and the kids come to work, literally.
And on holiday, we talk about work and kids.
A lot of work trips, we try and make in a work trip and have a little holiday on the side and think, let's take the kids as well. So I don't think we've been on holiday. Like, actually, we went to Centre Parks recently, that was probably the first holiday where it's not a work trip. But I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about taking work home with me, and we do talk about work quite a lot.
Yeah, well, we drive in the car together to work. We sit next to each other as well at work. Go back home for work. Yeah. So we're always together.
I worked with my fiance for a while.
Okay.
How was that?
Yeah, I think it's different because she was working at the company and I was running the company, so the kind of conversations were very different. So it was different. But I couldn't imagine. I can imagine working with her, but not full time. No. So I
guess it's that ability to kind of switch off after work, isn't it?
Yeah.
And almost finding that balance. But as you said, I guess it literally differs for everyone.
Yeah. I find it comfortable knowing that someone knows what I'm going through.
Yeah.
So it doesn't need to ask. And gets it. And can see it on a daily basis of like understanding if some things are stressful. You don't need to dig into it because you both know it. And it's kind of unsaid stuff.
And it's good. I know I get your point actually, because we support each other. Sometimes the business is up and down. And maybe whenever I'm feeling a bit like so much going on, Rimi's there to Rimi's like, you know what, we're gonna do this. We're gonna get through it. Same. We support each other in that way.
And you don't need to say it. You don't need to, because you'll see it in people because you are there every single day. So you can tell when something's not gone right or something's not gone wrong, and instead of that coming home and having that discussion or someone having to kind of, guys don't open up as much to kind of say today was crap. You will know. You already know. And
You're right.
And I like that.
That unspoken, what's the word for that?
It's just intuition.
Intuition,
But you see it visibly as well when things that don't go well, and you can be so much more supporting as a husband and wife combination because you know each other. And each of us hold life rather than just kind of the personal and work situation.
And it will be because maybe then I'll take more of a role than at home with the kids and leave Manav to sort out whatever he's got to do. Not have the pressure of both. And vice versa.
And so in 2018, was it? You guys went on Dragon's Den?
Yes.
And you guys turned the offer down?
Yes, we did.
So what was kind of the reasoning behind that? And what did you kind of learn from that experience?
They reached out to us, and we actually filmed in 2017 and it was aired in 2018, and we did need investment at that point. We'd just launched a ready to drink almond milk, and we were going to go into Waitrose, so we needed working capital, so we just went for it. We thought, why not? Passed the audition, and it was very intense. I was there for an hour, stood up, being grilled. I went on my own, actually. Marna didn't go.
I didn't go.
Childcare.
Yeah. There's only one kid, but yeah, childcare. I think they were in nursery as well that day.
It was great because a few dragons didn't get it. Fine, they were out. But Deborah Meaden got it, and she made an offer. But when you're standing there and it's like 30% of your business, and then I had flashbacks to those 18-hour days where we did that order, in 2 weeks, and you just literally put all your effort, your blood, sweat and tears into it. And I thought, I'm not giving away a third of my business.
Did you think about consulting?
Yeah. I think
we had a plan. We had a bit of a chat.
We did. And I guess it was more also for the exposure, getting out to 4 million viewers. I mean, if we had a great offer, we would have accepted, but never I would have given away 30%. So I stepped out of the den feeling really deflated because for an hour, and I know they do it for entertainment and to make great TV, but they make you feel really inadequate about your business. And I just cried as soon as I got out. And because also there was 10 months between filming, and either they can make you look really great or they can edit it to make you look like an idiot. So I didn't know which way it was going to go, and thankfully it wasn't too bad. I mean, I had a 10-minute slot.
I think that's more about the individual. You can only edit the content you have in front of you.
Yeah.
So you can't just put words into people's mouths or recreate things. So I think a lot of it is not down just to editing, it's down to yourself as well.
I know
what you mean.
I think I got one thing wrong. It was like we had three categories of product at the time, and I needed to remember SKUs. And we had 12 products, and then we'd been trading for 4 years, so I had to remember all the financials for each product for each year, and I think I got one wrong. So when I got that one wrong, it was like, she got it wrong. She does not know her figures. Peter Jones doesn't look very happy. And it was like, he doesn't look happy anyway.
But you went on, did you go on a silent retreat after that?
Oh, I want to do one of them.
Or something like
I came back, and like I said, I just felt really inadequate about my business. So I just said, Manav, I need a break. And, my daughter, I was still feeding my daughter through the night, and I was just like, I need a break from work, from everything. So in a few days, I just looked up this silent yoga retreat and just went to Sussex for a few days.
Awesome.
I'd never been on anything like that before. So, and just went and then came back just feeling a little bit more centred.
All I can say is Dragon's Den's improved massively in the last 2 years.
It has.
Hashtag ad. I got ulterior motives there. It's a much better show now.
For sure.
So, look, we've covered the kind of kitchen success. So, where do you guys look at as a kind of summit that you guys are trying to reach?
Because we've been on that journey, we've been going 9 years now. I think it's in the last few years we focused on the chocolate, and we found our thing. It's making great tasting chocolate that happens to be vegan. And I think we see ourselves not just competing in that vegan space, but with the big guys, with Snickers, Mars, Cadbury's. We want to sit there with mainstream confectionery. So if you go into the forecourt, you go into the supermarkets, you go to the coffee shops, we're sitting alongside those brands, and we're not tucked away, we're not in the back, we're not in a separate section.
And it's a space now getting massive disruption with the sugar tax. Recently Kellogg's have
HFSS and
been
stuff like that.
pulled.
So we know what we are. We know that it's chocolate. We're not telling people to eat it every day. It is a treat. A lot of things, the regulations aren't on us, in terms of advertising and stuff, but we found ways where we can fit in the stores and things like that. So it's been, that way we've been okay. But it will affect the bigger brands more than us, because we don't do the gondola ends. We don't do those types of deals. So for us, it opens up more space for us, actually.
Almost a little bit positive, because then we won't be competing with we call them big choc, like
Big choc.
Yeah, like the big chocolate corporate companies. So if they'll have less offers, then maybe consumers will be more receptive to looking at other, other brands and other options.
You walked out the den feeling inadequate. When do you think you'll feel like you've achieved what you wanted to achieve? What does that look like?
I don't know if you ever will feel that as an entrepreneur. I don't know. Are you always chasing something? Are you always... But then what I've become a firm believer of is being present, kind of taking each week as it comes and kind of celebrating the journey as well. And, you know, if we can achieve that, you know, when you're asking about what the summit is, I have a long-term goal as to kind of what the summit is for the business, where we're trying to reach. But for me, it's being present, enjoying the journey, being present with the children, being present at work. And if I can feel kind of satisfied with that, then I am reaching kind of that as an entrepreneur.
You mentioned you're 9 years in.
Yeah.
From kind of the first ND product and the kind of first kitchen.
Yeah.
When did you get that feeling that you just explained about enjoying the moment? Because it's I've not heard many people.
Only recently.
Yeah.
Only very recently. Before that, it was literally, okay, we need to get this. Yeah. We need to get this listing. We need to get this product. We need to hit this number.
Yeah. I think the pandemic as well played a part, right? So
that just chucked everything out the wall.
Yeah. So after that, the last 6 months, isn't it? The last 9
really?
months,
Yeah.
like where all of the hard work of the 9 years, because we've learned all of the mistakes.
Yeah.
Now we've sort of built the team, got a good team. Before the pandemic, there's only 4 of us, so now there's 18. We've got a great advisor, Juliet's on board. We've got a great team. The products are doing very well. You know, people love what we're doing, and it's all coming together. Yeah. All the hard work, the lessons we've learned, the team that we built, it's all coming together. I think that's when we're feeling now that, God, it's really, happening.
It's really fascinating because like entrepreneurs talk about the average business for an entrepreneur, it leaves after 7 years. At that point, you know, you either get to a point where you want to get rid of it, or from what I think you guys might have done, is you've broken through maybe a pain barrier.
Yes.
And you've come to a point of just real peace and enjoyment.
Yes.
Because I left social after 7 years, and I was like, that's so weird to think that actually it was exactly 7 years. Yeah. And then I read that it was the most. So it's a weird thing that you've kind of gone through that kind of lifespan, and now you're like, okay, I'm really just comfortable accepting and loving what I do.
Yeah.
No, definitely. We enjoy going to work.
We do, and we're out of the day-to-day now as well. You know, when you're in the day-to-day, you're firefighting. You're just trying to get things done. But now we can work on strategy and work at kind of the bigger picture and achieving our, goals that we've set. So yeah, and we are enjoying it more because it's still a struggle. It's you just have a new set of struggles than when you're out of the day-to-day. But yeah, I think we've just learned to enjoy it more.
So talking about enjoyment, you brought us some goodies to look at. So if we just get these brought in.
Thank you.
So we've got some of the classics in here and some of the new products. And Hattie and I are actually both big fans. And chocolate first, vegan second. I really like that. And then we go for talk us through. So you've got some of the classics here, yeah. Talk us through what's new and what you're most excited about.
So these launched a few months ago. Yep. These are our nutty choc balls, and these are a world's first. Nobody's made a vegan version.
And this is the other packet,
heritage flavor.
This is the other packet, thank you.
Yeah, that's fine. and then we also have launched a caramelised biscuit wafer as well, just to add to the wafer range.
It's really good.
It's really good.
Goes great with a coffee.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And this idea came, we saw somebody make a fake post, said, wouldn't it be great if somebody made a wafer with caramelised biscuit? And I think it had like 8,000 likes, 500 comments, said, this would be a great combination of two brands getting together. So
we're quite prevalent on social.
So we thought,
when people talk, we listen. Yeah. We're like, okay, can you make a vegan version of?
So I don't think these will last until 2:00 in our office.
We should have bought some more.
So I'll let you know how they go down. Thank you so much for coming on today, and it's incredible hearing your story. And
thank you.
Just love you guys. You're such a lovely couple.
Cheers.
Such a great business, great product, and it's nice to put a
real face.
A real
face.
A voice, no voice. I mean, everyone's probably seen that when they see it in the supermarket.
Yeah.
So lovely to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you for having
guys.
us on.
Yeah,
it was really nice to chat.
If you enjoyed this episode, please let us know in the comments and take the time to rate, share and review.